There are an estimated 35 million people in the U.S. living with chronic idiopathic constipation. Now, here to tell us what that is and some findings from a recent survey is Dr. William Che. Doctor, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Alex. Glad to be here.
Thank you. So let's talk about that survey. What were some of the findings?
Well, first and foremost, it was remarkable how common chronic constipation is amongst individuals in the United States. You mentioned a moment ago that overall around 10% of the population is affected by this condition, which is defined by a number of different symptoms. Most people associate constipation with not going to the bathroom often enough, but patients will tell you that they also suffer with complaints like straining or hard or lumpy stools, a sensation of incomplete evacuation after a bowel movement, or a feeling like there's an actual blockage that's preventing them from being able to move their bowels.
So what are the actual causes that can lead to this?
Most commonly, constipation is related to sluggishness of the colon. That is, the colon not contracting enough. The motility or contractile activity of the colon is not normal, and for that reason, stool doesn't pass through the colon in a normal amount of time.
How can people who suffer from this or maybe want to prevent it, how can they manage it?
Yeah, I think that the first thing for anybody suffering with constipation to do is to look in the mirror at their own diet and lifestyle. So a couple things to think about. One, particularly if you're employed in a job that is involved with any type of physical activity, making sure that you drink enough fluid during the course of the day is very important. Also, eating fruits and vegetables, whole foods and grains to make sure that you get enough dietary fiber can be very, very helpful. And then finally, regular exercise can also be very helpful in terms of bowel regularity. It turns out that people that exercise regularly are much more prone to move their bowels regularly than individuals who are sedentary.
A lot of good advice. And why do you think that patients are hesitant to open up about this to their doctors, of all people?
I think the reality is that this is an embarrassing topic to bring up and talk about. And I always use this example. It's very frequent that patients will come into the office with a loved one. They'll tell their story, and sometimes they'll even get to the point where they become tearful related to how much the constipation is affecting their life. And their loved one will turn to them and say, I had no idea that this was going on or how much it was affecting you. And you can imagine that if people won't even talk to their own family about these conditions, they're hesitant to talk to anybody else, including their healthcare provider.
Right. Well, if people want resources to learn more information, get educated, where can they go get information? A
great website that's been set up to provide more information about the results of the survey, as well as to provide general information about chronic constipation, is yourcolonisamuscle.com. That's a website that provides general information that I think will be very useful to individuals suffering with chronic constipation.
Dr. William Che, thanks so much for your time.
Thanks very much.
Of course. We'll be right back.